I just love this view. What an incredible view. What an incredibly beautiful day today. Oh, hang on. Let me get that phone. This is Jerry. Hey, Billy Bob. How are you, man? Oh, I'm doing just fine. Oh, yeah, the wife and kids are doing just fine. They're just loving this clean mountain air. How are you and your wife doing? And the kids? Incredible. Yes, yes, I will be here later today. All right, well, why don't you drive up, bring the family, and let's talk a little bit of business. All right, I'll talk to you then. All right, take care. Drive safe. Bye-bye. Sorry about that. Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Grizzly Bear Sims YouTube channel, and welcome back to a brand new map on Grizzly Bear Sims YouTube channel. I appreciate you guys tuning in. If this map sort of looks like a map that maybe the wonderful Stevie created, well, you would be correct. This is Snetterton's Farm by the wonderful and talented Stevie. I would like to first say thank you to Stevie for creating such a wonderful map, for creating such wonderful maps, I should say. You know me, I very much enjoy Stevie's creations. I have been playing Stevie's maps since the Farm Sim 15 days and have been quite enjoying them. And I believe this is the third map that I've actually played on Farm Sim 17 that Stevie has created. And I would just like to say a big hearty thank you to Stevie and all of the modders out there for doing such a wonderful job in producing content for all of us to enjoy, because, you know, as I've said many times here on this channel, these mods that we enjoy, that we download and load into our game, they extend this game out so very well, and I'm so very appreciative of their willingness to give back to the community. So you might be wondering why a new map, what's going on, what's happening with my channel as far as Farm Sim content is concerned. Well, we are going to wrap up Mountain Valley Farm as we had planned, as we had anticipated. This map, Snetterton's Farm, is going to be somewhat twofold. It is going to replace the Old Guy Farmer Challenge that I was doing with the old Goldcrest Valley map. In addition, this is going to be both a probably recorded, edited, uploaded kind of format, kind of videos for you guys to consume, as well as some live streams as well. Maybe a mixture of 50-50. We'll just kind of have to see how that goes once we kind of get started with things. And this is a challenge in and of itself. So Farmer Klein, and if I'm sure you guys know who Farmer Klein is, if you watch my channel, I've talked about Farmer Klein many times, a great friend of mine. Farmer Klein sort of challenged some of the folks at PCSG as well as the Three Dudes Gaming Network to try 24-day season challenge. So basically it's 24 days per season. Now, you know that in the previous challenge that I was doing, that was 6 game days per season. We were playing at 15x speed. This is going to be 24 days per season at 15x speed. I was actually quite getting into the groove with the whole 15x speed thing, but I did sort of find that maybe the 6 game days per season was just not quite enough to get everything in. And of course, the challenge, the old challenge, was very structured in, we had to make sure that we used tractors that was less than 250 horsepower, and we couldn't cheat any money in and all that kind of stuff. So basically, we are playing this map. The only sort of restrictions in and of itself is that we play at 24 seasons or 24 days per season, and we play at a minimum speed of 15x. Now, I will just reveal here, I'll Alt-H and unhide my HUDs here. I'm still at 1x speed. I'm going to remain at 1x speed while I do this introduction video, and then once we come back together, this is going to be like episode 0, so when we come back for episode number 1, I will crank it up to 15x speed, and that's where we will leave it for the duration of the challenge. Now, you might also be wondering, as I hide the HUDs again, because we don't need to take a look at that, you might also be wondering, well, what is happening with the giveaways? The giveaways are still going to be taking place. I will be providing code words throughout this series up until we get to the point of, say, just before the November 6th time frame, which is when I was going to provide the drawing and everything. So we will continue to give code words out. As a matter of fact, there will be a code word in this episode as well, so make sure you stay tuned for that. And you heard right, that was a phone call from my good buddy, my good farming buddy, Billy Bob, who will be joining me, as well as Jack and maybe a few other characters that we're going to bring into this Let's Play series, because we're going to be basically farming big, and we're going to be farming hard to get everything done that we want to do. So I've got this old truck here. Actually, it's not too old of a truck. This is our supply truck, and this is something that I have used on my maps before. And let's just kind of let's just jump in first and foremost and go ahead and get our truck fired up. I will back it out of the driveway here momentarily, and then we will, first I'll show you the map. I'll show you, let me bring up the map view here, and you can kind of see what we own. Now, we own a lot of fields. Now, whether or not we will plant all these fields, I really do not know, and it could be that we might add a field or two in addition to all the fields that you see here. Remember, we are playing 24-day seasons, and this is somewhat uncharted territory for me. When I first was introduced with the seasons mod, I was doing 3 game days per season, or a 12 game day year. I sort of graduated from that, and I went to 6 game days per season, playing at 1x to 5x speed. Did the challenge at 6 game days per season at 15x speed. That was a little bit like my fish out of water kind of moment, but I did slowly sort of get into the groove, get into the grind, and I was actually finding it to be quite enjoyable. So this is going to be very much like that, except we're going to have all the additional days in the spring. So we basically own pretty much everything in the northern portion of the farm here. Field number 20, most likely we will plant that in corn for a BGA, if we can get around to that. And then these fields here will plant in the various crops that we have available to us. And this map does have the extra fruit types to it. So we have oats in addition to wheat, canola, soybeans, potatoes, oilseed radish, grass, barley, sunflowers, corn, sugar beet, poplar, which we're not going to mess with. We will plant oat. And we also have rye, triticale, sorghum, spelt, and millet available to us as well. So we'll experiment with some of these and see how they work out for us. I'm pretty much planning on planting fields number 17 and field number 11 in grass, so that will be what we will get to work on in episode number 1, is plowing these fields. All of our fields will need to be plowed. Let me just show that to you really quick here. So soil composition, everything needs to be plowed. Everything needs to be fertilized. So we've got plenty of good equipment to take care of all of that. Let me just kind of show you what we've got here to work with. So this is kind of our day 1 equipment that we're going to be pulling out onto the fields. We've got our fertilized spreaders. These are the GTX road train trucks with the fertilized distributor on the back of it to spread solid fertilizer out. We've got our 2 big John Deere plows, and these are the let's see, what tractors are these? I have already forgot. These are the Kloss. These are the Kloss tractors that my good friend Doug Zorley reviewed on his channel a few weeks ago, and I just basically fell in love with this thing. So this is the Xerion, the Kloss Xerion that we have here. So we got kind of a mixture of different kind of tractors that you'll see here on the gameplay. And so we'll just drive on up here to this other field here, or to this other barn, I should say. Now, Stevie does give us a selection of animals to start off with. We've got a small portion of, let me just pull over our animal menu here. We do have 10 of each. We got 10 sheep, 10 pigs, and 10 cows. Now we need to take care of them, obviously, and we have not done that yet because all I've really done since I started the game up is just get the equipment set where I want it. So we've got the Crone Big M. There I'm going to give Doug Zorley a run for his money on the whole Lord of the Grass thing. And then we've got basically two Fents here. We've got the Fent Challenger and the Fent 1000. Both of these are very similar. I just like the Black Beauty, and so we're going to go with those. We've got the smaller John Deere that we'll figure out a use for it as well. And about the only other thing that I need to bring into the map, and I think we've actually purchased it and it's just at the store, is our telehandler and some things like that. So anyway, we'll get those moved up to the farm in due time. We've got lots of different production things here that we can do. We can make our own fertilizer, we can make our own seeds, we can get those things done, and most likely we will have plenty of time for all of those little odds and ends and stuff like that. So right over here, here's obviously our grain silos. We have a supply of grain that Stevie has given us, plus I've also padded those amounts just a little bit because, again, we're going to work with larger animal quantities, so most likely I will be bringing in maybe up to 100 head of dairy cattle, 100 head of sheep, and maybe 25 or 30 pigs or so. So we will obviously have material or crops that we would have harvested the previous year. So think of this as an ongoing farm. This is not like a new operation. This is coming into an existing farm that we've been farming for some time. And we've obviously worked last fall to get the crops and everything to take care of the animals, and so that's what we'll be going with. So we've got a couple of the Penta DB50 tippers. We've got a universal tanker there for water. We've got our forage wagons. We've got a couple of large cultivators. These fields are not super huge in size, but they're big enough that we can take advantage of some of the larger equipment that we have in the game. So here we have a modded version of the Amazon seeder. We also have the Great Plains row crop planter there, and then this is the Hazen, can't pronounce that, but this is part of the Big Bud pack. Now we don't have a Big Bud on our farm because I don't really think that we need a Big Bud. I think that those two big Kloss tractors will do everything that we need to do as far as plowing and cultivation is concerned, and we will just kind of go with that. So we've got our two John Deere harvesters in here. We've got both types of headers set up here for those. We've also got a forage wagon, a forage harvester that is still at the store that we haven't brought up to the farm yet, so we'll get that up here. Stevie has put in mud on the map, and also he has put in some really beautiful water crossings and stuff like that, so lots of stuff to really enjoy as we spend our time here farming on this beautiful, beautiful map. And here is our dairy farm. Most likely I will put in the stop milk cell so that we will have something to do every few days, and that is hauling the milk to the sell point, and we'll figure out where we're going to put that. But we do have the silage fermentation silos there, so this is very similar to what we had on Pine Cove Farm. Love that. We most likely will not use the traditional silage bunker here on this farm. And then of course Stevie has put us in a mixing station, so we'll get that up and running as well. So we'll head on over and I'll show you the pigs, the pig area, and then I'll show you the sheep, and then I'll leave the rest of sort of the map tour and such to as we kind of progress through our gameplay. I'm just going to go ahead and leave this gate open since we have a cattle guard there. We don't have to worry about those guys getting out. And then our pigs are just right to the right here. So all of our animals are somewhat centrally located, and we may bring and may actually purchase some equipment specific to leave around some of these animals to do like cleanup and stuff like that. Have them here instead of driving equipment back and forth. But we've got our stuff there, and then we've got our pig food mixing station there, And so all looking good. There are gold nuggets on the map. I should say that the challenge, there is no, the end result for the challenge is obviously to finish, to get through the 24-day per season year. But as far as, the one who makes the most money and all that kind of stuff, that's really not part of the equation. It's really just to have some fun at 24-day seasons, playing at 15x speed. That's really what the result is. Obviously, we've purchased most all of our equipment. We still have a few things that we'll purchase that will come out of the money, and so we'll get that going. So here's our sheep here. Like I said, we've got 10 head of sheep right now, but we'll add to that, and then. So essentially, whenever we do start our gameplay, we'll have $2.5 million that will obviously be our operating money that we will use to buy seeds, buy fuel, pay for labor, that sort of stuff. And that's what we will use until we can actually start generating some income from our milk, from our wool, from... we do have a windmill. There is a windmill somewhere on the map that's going to obviously generate some money. We've got greenhouses on the map as well, so we'll have the opportunity to get some of those going. And I think I've already showed you the seeders and stuff that we're going to use. So basically, this is sort of episode 0. And as I said, I will be bringing Billy Bob and Jack in to work with us, and maybe even another hired helper if we need it. We are going big here on this map, obviously, as you can see. And I'm really looking forward to getting in the gameplay here with you, doing some live streams and interacting with folks. I quite enjoyed that with the other challenge map that we're no longer doing, and not really going to say any more about that. So all is fine there. So anyway, we've got a water trough here, but we won't need it because that low water crossing that we crossed over to go and see the dairy cows, we can get water out of that for free. And that's obviously a good thing. So anyway, again, sort of our game 1 or episode 1 gameplay is going to be to start plowing and start planting field 17 and field number 11. We look here, we'll bring up our HUDs just one moment here. So our soil temperature is at 39 degrees. And if I bring up our seasons menu here, you can see that the only thing that we can plant on this game day, and probably even the game day tomorrow, and maybe even much of the first 8 days or so, is going to be grass. So we will most likely get Billy Bob here, get him and get Jack to fertilizing and plowing. So we will fertilize, we will plow, and then we will seed grass. And then at some stage we'll come in and probably spray the grass. And then that's going to be pretty much the game plan for the next episode. So let's take a look at our weather forecast just to kind of keep an eye on that. Obviously, we've got a lot of days of spring to get through before we can even take a look at what summer is going to have in store for us. We've got lots and lots of days before we can even harvest. So it's going to be a lot of planting, a lot of animal work. We are going to do some forestry on this map. I know I said that I was not going to probably do any further logging and everything because I've cut down so many trees on my other two, the challenge as well as Mountain Valley Farm. But there is industry on this map that needs forestry, and we're going to do a little bit of that. We won't, trust me, I'm not going to make you watch me cut down 800 trees. And I will do some stuff off camera just to kind of break up the monotony so that it doesn't get boring to you guys. But at the same time, we're going to have fun and we're going to showcase this. And I really appreciate you guys hanging in there with me while I sort of regroup and reboot and get things kind of going again as far as the new map is concerned. I'm really looking forward to playing this and getting it out there because this is just a beautiful map. Stevie has done a wonderful job putting this map together, and I'll explain a little bit more about Snetterton's Farm. That's what this map is called, is Snetterton's. That is a bit of a tongue twister for this yank. But anyway, we'll get rid of this question mark here because we don't need that anymore. By the way, this is our sell point for straw if we want to, and hay and stuff like that. But anyway, thank you all so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. I hope you will tune in for episode number 1. I'm not sure when that will actually air for you or be available to you on YouTube, but it should be very, very shortly. Thank you all so much for watching. Again, take good care of yourselves and each other. God bless you all. Please come back again very soon. Take care, and I'll talk to you right here very soon. Bye-bye.